Today is the anniversary of one of the most notorious days in history that many don't even realize. It's a day that changed so many lives, including mine and my family's, and ended up changing millions more. Today is December 21st, 2025. On December 21st, 1978, Des Plaines Police Detective Raphael Tovar and Officer Mike Albrecht were two of the officers who finally were able to arrest John Wayne Gacy. Here is a little insight into how it all happened. I am not going to go over everything Gacy did in this video. I am just going to focus on the last victim and how that led them to Gacy and the horrors that were to be found out. Robert Jerome Piest was a 15-year-old honor student from Des Plaines, Illinois. He worked part-time at Nissan Pharmacy, where he was last seen on December 11, 1978. He was the youngest of three children, born March 16, 1963, to Elizabeth and Harold Piest. Robert was working his shift at Nissan Pharmacy in Des Plaines. Gacy entered the pharmacy to discuss a remodeling job with the owner, Phil Torf. Between 8 o'clock and 8:45 p.m., Gacy caught Robert's attention while speaking loudly about paying teens $5 an hour, which was almost double what Rob was making there. Shortly before 9 p.m., Robert prepares to leave. Robert is nearing the end of his shift. He had let his coworker/friend Kim borrow his coat while she was working the register, since every time someone entered or left it would blow cold air in. While she was working, she filled out a photo development envelope to have a roll of film developed. Without thinking, she put her stub in his coat pocket. Rob asked for his coat back so he could run outside, and she gave it to him, forgetting the receipt. He runs outside to tell his mother about Gacy and, overhearing him talking about looking for young men/teens to work for him. It was his mom's birthday, so he promised to be as quick as he could, but he really wanted to try and get the job because he would be getting his license soon and he wanted to save up for a car. His mom wished him luck and said she didn't mind waiting a bit for him to talk to the guy. He tells coworker Kim Byers that the contractor wants to talk to him about a job opportunity. This is the last confirmed statement he makes inside the pharmacy. After waiting, Elizabeth Piest becomes concerned. She asks the owner, who said he last saw him going outside to talk to Gacy. After several more minutes, she becomes alarmed and drives back to her house. She returns to the area with husband Harold, son Ken, daughter Carrie, and the family's two German shepherds. Their search turns up nothing. At 11:29 p.m., Elizabeth Piest arrives at the Des Plaines police station to file a missing person report for her son. Lieutenant Kozenzak, whose son attends the same high school as Piest, insists on an in-depth investigation. On December 12th, he learns Gacy, whose PDM contractors had recently remodeled Nissan Pharmacy, was the man Piest went to speak to about a job. Two officers went to Gacy's house to talk to him, and after being ignored for some time, Gacy finally answered the door. Gacy is asked to come to the police station for questioning. He claimed due to a death in his family, he was on the phone and had to take care of the funeral, but would come into the station the next day. Side note, no family death had occurred. At 11 p.m., Gacy calls Kozenzak and asks, "You still want to talk to me?" "Yeah," Kozenzak responds. "How long do you think it will take you to get here?" "A half hour," Gacy says. Kozenzak waits until 1 a.m., but Gacy doesn't show. Police later learn that after the phone call, Gacy has another employee come by and grab the work van since he knew the police were watching. When the person left in the van, the police followed. He then takes the body of the Piest boy from the attic, which is where he put it while the police were knocking on the front door, and moves it into the trunk of his car. He drives south of Joliet and dumps the body into the Des Plaines River. Investigators later discover Gacy's car was towed out of a snowbank at 2 a.m. on the Tri-State Tollway north of Ogden Avenue, about 38 miles north of where Gacy would later say he dumped Piest's body. Records from the tow truck company help authorities determine within an hour the time Gacy disposed of the youth's body. At 3:20 a.m., Gacy walks into the Des Plaines police station with mud on his pants and shoes. He asks to speak with Kozenzak but is told to come back later. He does return and gives officers a brief statement. Kozenzak asks Gacy for the keys to his house, showing him a search warrant. Gacy protests but surrenders his keys. Inside the house, police and a Cook County Sheriff's Office evidence technician discover a receipt for a roll of film being developed. The Piest family says the receipt belongs to the friend mentioned earlier in this video, who was a friend of their son. They seize other items from inside the house as well as Gacy's car, van, and a pickup truck to be searched later. No other items relating to Piest are found, but police conclude Piest was in Gacy's house. December 15, 1978. Police find items linked to young men. One day after police place Gacy under around-the-clock surveillance, a Maine West High School ring police retrieved from the home is linked to John CYC, a youth missing for 2 years. That same day, a Gacy employee tells police that 2 former employees had disappeared. December 19, 1978. After having been followed for a few days, Gacy invites 2 police officers inside his house for breakfast. They both had used the bathroom, and while in there, they both smelled the odor of decomposition. It was much stronger when the heat clicked on, making it obvious it was coming from the air duct on the floor from the crawl space. That same day, after Gacy had met with a lawyer and told him how he was being harassed by the police, so the lawyers filed a $750,000 civil rights suit against Des Plaines and its police department, charging that officers are harassing their client with illegal searches and seizures and destroying his reputation with their investigation. December 20th, 1978. Police learn of a prior conviction. In 1968, Gacy pleaded guilty to 1 charge of sodomy of a teenage boy while living in Waterloo, Iowa, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. He was paroled in 1970 after serving only 18 months and allowed to return to Chicago to serve his parole, which ended in October 1971. December 21st, 1978. Gacy arrested. First bodies found. While under police surveillance, Gacy is seen handing a package containing marijuana to a gas station clerk. Gacy is followed, then arrested. Police are told Gacy has already admitted to his lawyer that he committed maybe 30 murders. With Gacy in custody, Des Plaines Police and Cook County Sheriff's Office investigators obtain a warrant and again enter Gacy's 1-story, ranch-style house. They located Piest's jacket as well as the photo development receipt. Police accuse Gacy of holding Piest there against his will and threaten to tear up the floor to find the teen's body. Gacy denies Piest is there but says he was forced to kill a man in self-defense and buried him under the concrete floor of his garage. He leads investigators to the garage and, with a can of spray paint, marks the place on the floor where the body is buried. Police also discover a trapdoor to the house's crawl space, where they find parts of at least 3 bodies. December 22nd, 1978. Gacy confesses. Gacy's giving all kinds of statements, saying there's a body here, a body there, a body in a lake or a lagoon, a body buried, says Cook County Sheriff Richard Elrod. In a rambling verbal statement lasting several hours, Gacy tells police he has killed 32 young men after having sexual relations with them. He talks of himself in the third person, saying the slayings and sex acts were committed by Jack or John. He says he buried the bodies of 27 victims on his property. 29 would be discovered, most of them in the crawl space. 5 other bodies would be found by police, including that of Piest, were thrown into rivers south of Chicago, Gacy says. He draws a diagram showing where the bodies are buried and gives the names of 6 of his victims. Gacy is charged with Piest's murder, though the youth's body had not been found yet. Rob is widely recognized as Gacy's last victim, the one whose disappearance finally broke the case open and ended the serial killer's years-long spree. Rob Piest isn't just a footnote in the Gacy story. He's the reason dozens of other victims were finally found and identified. His case is a powerful example of how one person's disappearance can expose a much larger system of harm. Rob's case stood out immediately because he told coworkers exactly where he was going and with whom. He left behind a clear timeline, something many earlier victims didn't have. His family pushed police to act within hours, not days. The clues he left behind led investigators directly to Gacy's door, triggering surveillance, search warrants, and ultimately the discovery of the bodies. Rob is widely recognized as Gacy's last victim, the one whose disappearance finally ended the serial killer's 6-year spree. By the time Rob vanished, Gacy had already unalived more than 30 young men and boys. Rob's disappearance didn't just solve his own case, it unraveled the entire Gacy operation. I am not going to go into details on what Gacy did to Rob. That is not what this particular video is about. It's a sad story, but there is some good. His disappearance is what finally stopped this monster, and it's anyone's guess on how many other lives he saved, sadly by losing his. I pray Rob is resting in peace as well as all the other victims. I hope you this date as important as I do. It's the anniversary that finally ended years of horror. Rob is not one I ever met personally, but I did meet his mother and sister during the trial. If you want a clear understanding in my involvement and knowledge of this case, please go back and watch Gacy, the man behind my nightmare PT1. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and there will be more to come about Gacy soon. Thanks for watching.